Welcome back to the Avatar series right here at Comicstorian, your number one place for dramatic readings of your favorite comic books. I'm your narrator, Dan, and today we're going to be continuing the Avatar The Last Airbender comic series with North and South, Part 2. Hakoda and his warriors crest the hill, looking down at the shipwreck in the distance. His lieutenant looks on, shocked that there could be an army hidden within the structure. But Hakoda shakes his head, reminding that Gilok and his forces are hidden within the caverns underneath, that they use the idea of the ship being haunted to keep people away. They move inside, avoiding the various traps that have been set up around the ship. Moving into the tunnels, they discover that Gilok and his forces have already left. Gilok knew that we were going to come for him. Of course he knew, Hakoda notes. He orders his warriors to spread out and look for clues. But it is his lieutenant that discovers the message left on the wall. Soon, I will show you the truth, chieftain. Meanwhile, Malik and Melina begin to show Katara and Sokka around the refinery in the Southern Water Tribe. The two siblings are barely listening though, as Katara explains her misgivings about their father dating Melina. You barely even know her, Sokka points out. I know her well enough to know that she's not right for Dad, Katara huffs. But Sokka looks at his sister, explaining that they'll never see anyone but their mother as right for Dad. But maybe that's okay, because Dad gets to choose who's right for Dad, Sokka tells her. Their conversation is interrupted as Malik turns back, asking if they had any questions. Sokka nods, admitting that he wasn't paying attention at all. Malik is crestfallen, but Melina steps in. She explains that they found a huge deposit of oil under the ice and that they plan on extracting it. She tells them that the oil is the key to elevating the Southern Water Tribe. Huh, I didn't realize we need lifting up, Katara glares angrily. But Malik isn't listening. He explains that this oil is the biggest deposit in the world, and with it, machines can be everywhere. In every part of our lives! He gasped excitedly. But Katara turns, looking at the smoke that is bellowing out of the refinery. And that's a good thing because? She asks. Malik suddenly looks very serious, trying to explain how the power that is available to benders has been out of the reach of non-benders. Machines can finally make us equals, he tells them. I guess I never thought of non-benders as not equal, Katara tells them. But Sokka gets excited, agreeing with Malik. He brings up the Earthen Fire refinery and how their machine-run assembly line made them equal with the Benders' assembly line. Malik agrees, explaining that the Earthen Fire refinery is actually one of their partners and is loaning them the equipment. Earthen Finery is sending a representative to walk us through our refinery's expansion. Here she comes now, in fact, Melina tells them, pointing to an approaching figure. Representative? I'm an executive partner now, Toph tells them, rubbing her head. Katara and Sokka run over to their friend, and Toph is a little surprised. I heard you guys might be around. Sorry for not recognizing you at first. These stupid things make everything fuzzy, she says, motioning towards her shoes. I can barely see what's around me, she says, swinging her arms and smacking Sokka in the face. Hey, you did that on purpose, Sokka snaps at her, bringing an evil smile and laugh from Toph. The Earthbender turns to Melina and Malik, introducing herself and explaining that she is excited for what they are doing. The siblings smile, telling them all that they are hosting a festival tonight in the city to honor their partnership with the Earthen Fire refinery. Everyone in the city is invited, but Katara and Sokka, you've gotta come as our honored guests, Melina tells them. And Sokka excitedly agrees when he hears about the games and free food. I'm liking this lady more and more, he whispers to his sister. Only because she keeps feeding you, Katara whispers back. That night, Sokka is excited as they walk into the massive festival that fills up the city of the Southern Water Tribe. Sokka and Toph head off, shocked to see that the festival has the Poundy Poundy game. Katara stays behind, surprised as Master Pakku walks over with some of his best students to introduce them. How are your lessons going? Katara asks, bending down to the young children. But they look sad, telling her that they're not really waterbenders. And the two kids turn and run away. Master Pakku explains that they've been like that since they came to the village. While they are quite gifted benders, they hide their abilities. It's like they don't want to share their waterbending with anyone but themselves, He tells her as they look over at Toph and Sokka as the young woman pretends to be unable to lift the massive hammer for the poundy-poundy game. "Give me a second. After all, I'm just a poor little blind girl," she tells the owner. At the gates to the city, Hakoda and his warriors guard the entrance as Gilok watches on. "They're waiting for us," he tells his soldiers. He turns to his troops, pulling on his helmet and telling them to prepare themselves. They turn, journeying into the tunnels with their massive drill machine. At the gates, Hakoda's lieutenant comes up to him, telling him that he has a visitor. The chieftain turns, surprised to see his daughter away from the festival. "Thought you might want some company. Are you guys planning on staying out here all night?" Katara asks him. Hakoda nods, telling her that with all of Gilok's recent actions, they must remain vigilant and protect the city. The two sit and Hakoda reveals that he knows that his daughter is worried about his relationship with Melina. "Why didn't you tell us about her?" Katara asks. Hakoda apologizes, admitting that he should have told them, but was afraid that they were not ready. "But are you sure that you're ready? I just don't get why you chose her," Katara tells her father, concerned for him. She looks down, telling her father that she doesn't believe that Melina truly gets the Southern Water Tribe. "And honestly, I don't trust her. What if she's up to something nefarious?" Katara says with concern. But Hakoda just laughs, hugging his daughter and assuring her that Melina isn't up to anything nefarious. "Even if you don't trust her, you have to trust me, okay?" he tells her. He smiles at Katara, explaining that Melina has a good heart and that he wouldn't have fallen in love with her otherwise. But Katara pushes him away, thinking that maybe her father is blinded by his love. "You know what it's like to be in love, right?" he asks. And Katara nods. "So you know that the right kind of love, the real kind, that sacrifices, that kind of love doesn't blind you, it actually helps you see," he tells her. Katara looks at her father, his words sank in. But their conversation is interrupted as they look up into the sky to see a sky bison descending towards them. Aang jumps off his faithful companion, rushing towards his girlfriend. They hug, with Katara whispering to Aang not to kiss her in front of her father. "Okay," he whispers back, giving her a squeeze. He quickly fills her in on Zuko's situation and the fact that Azula is back, before walking over and bowing to Hakoda. Aang quickly asks about the warriors guarding the gates, but Hakoda waves them off, telling the two kids to go enjoy the festival. "My dad's always been kind to you, right?" Katara asks Aang as they walk away. "Yeah, of course. Why?" Aang asks. Katara looks back at her father, who has returned to the task of directing his warriors. "I've just been thinking, I ought to do the same," she says with a smile. They head back into the festival, spending time with their friends and having fun. Sokka and Toph continue to win prizes, with the young earthbender toting around a bunch of stuffed animals. Katara manages to find Melina, thanking her for inviting them all to the festival and for treating her and Sokka so well. Melina is shocked to see the Avatar, and Katara offers to introduce them. "I wouldn't just like that, I would love it!" Melina shouts with joy. Malik interrupts them though, telling them that it is time for Melina to make her announcement. Everyone in the festival begins to gather around the stage, and the others interrupt their game winning to wander over. Melina takes the stage, bringing cheers from the crowd as she asks if they are having fun. Melina continues telling the tribe that together they will usher in a new era for the Southern Water Tribe, and that they will finally establish a presence for themselves on the world's stage. "That's a good thing, right?" someone whispers as the cheers and claps become a little less enthusiastic. Toph suddenly pauses, sensing something in the earth. She places her hand on the ground, finally sensing that someone is coming towards them. "Would have felt it sooner if it wasn't for these stupid things," she hisses, glaring at the shoes on her feet. "Heads up, Team Avatar!" she shouts to her friends. Melina holds out her hands, announcing the partnership with the Earthern Fire Refinery and asking for Toph to come up to the stage. "Yeah, I'd like to say a few words. Everybody get out of here!" Toph shouts as she dashes through the crowd. But she's too late, and a massive drill breaks through the ground in the middle of the festival. Armed with his club, Gilok stands atop it. "Hear me, people of the Southern Water Tribe. I am Gilok, your true brother.
We've come of age together. We've shared meals together. We've bled together on foreign lands. You know that I am blood of your blood and flesh of your flesh. So you must believe me when I say that these two scoundrels from our sister tribe are not here to help us. They are here to subjugate and humiliate us," he shouts, gaining everyone's attention as he points at Melina and Malik. He tells the crowd that the pair want to strip their land of its natural resources and control it for themselves. "Wait, what?" Toph whispers. Melina yells that Gilok's words aren't true, but he holds up Malik's briefcase, claiming that he has proof, that he has read the documents that claim the Northern Water Tribe will control all rights to the oil that sits beneath the Southern Water Tribe. "What would the South be then, if not a colony?" he asks, pointing his weapon at the siblings. "That is not our plan," Melina shouts. She turns, looking at the gathering around them before letting her eyes fall. "But it used to be," she admits. Everyone is shocked as she explained that they once thought the Southern Water Tribe wasn't ready to handle the responsibility of the oil. "We were wrong," she tells them, confidence in her voice. But Malik interrupts. "No, we weren't. I never destroyed those documents," he tells her. Melina is shocked as Malik turns to the crowd, anger in his voice. He tells them that the Southern Water Tribe isn't ready and that the oil will be under the Northern Tribe's control. "You have no idea what this oil means, not just for your own little backward society, but for the world. This oil changes everything. This oil is the pathway to a future of equality. And we can't trust the future to a culture so mired in the past," he shouts angrily at everyone. Melina tries to stop him, but Malik won't be silenced. "You Southerners need oversight of an actual civilization. You can't even come up with a cohesive set of laws." "Stop talking!" Melina finally shouts at her brother, pushing him. She steps in front of everyone, and she apologizes for her brother's words, promising that they will step down from the Southern Reconstruction Project immediately and return to the North. But Gilok shakes his head. "Oh no! After what you've done, you don't get to just leave," he tells them. He orders his warriors forward and they rush the stage. "Malik, I told you to stay quiet! Stay behind me!" Melina shouts angrily as she bends an ice wall to protect them. The Northern crew rush forward to help their employers as Aang steps up. "Look, whatever Melina and Malik have done, they don't deserve to die. Katara and I will get them somewhere safe," he says, turning to his friends. "While Captain Boomerang and I keep everyone else from pummeling each other," Toph shouts, beginning to move off. "Captain Boomerang?" Sokka asks, unhooking his weapon. "Oh, don't act like you don't love it when I call you that, Captain Boomerang," Toph shouts at her friend. Aang rushes forward, telling Katara to help the siblings while he deals with the troops. He shoots air across the ground, knocking the warriors down. Melina and Malik manage to avoid a spear as Katara cracks the knee of another warrior with her frozen water arms. Melina and Malik try to thank her. "Not now!" Katara hisses at them, not happy. But she is stunned as a massive ice sculpture hits her from behind. "Ha ha! Payback!" the foreman laughs. "You idiots! She saved us!" Melina shouts at her employees. But they turn to her, telling her and Malik to escape while they crack some heads. Melina tries to argue, but Malik begins to pull her away. Struggling to her feet, Katara looks up to see the old man that tried to tell her and Sokka the story of the snow rat beneath the wrecked ship. "Do you finally grasp the point of my story, Katara?" he asks her with a friendly smile. His face becomes serious, though, as he explains that they will never see her as anything but a snow rat. "We must remove the foreigners from within our mists, or they will destroy us. Now will you support Gilok's cause?" he asks. Katara stares at the elder for a moment, before turning and seeing Aang continue to fight against Gilok's warriors. "No," she finally says, determined in her voice. I believed in you, young Katara. I really did.
The old man sighs. But he suddenly lashes out, hitting several pressure points on Katara's arm.
But being away from home for so long has made you forget where your loyalties belong,
he snaps.
You're a chi blocker?
Katara gasps as her arms go limp. Meanwhile, Aang continues to knock warriors aside with blasts of wind. 2 warriors grab his arms as the drill comes up behind him. But Aang twists, kicking out another blast of wind that knocks the drill machine aside. The men are stunned as he knocks them away. Sokka and Toph rush the foreman on the stage. "Hey, nice earth gauntlets," Toph shouts, impressed by the man's bending for a brief moment. "Oh look, I made myself a pair," she shouts with glee as she pummels the construction workers. On the side of the stage, Sokka faces off against 2 of Gilok's warriors, armed with boomerangs. He smiles as he easily beats them with his skill in the weapon. "After all, there can only be one Captain Boomerang," he shouts with glee as he knocks them both out. Katara's arms hang limply at her sides as she fights against the elderly chi blocker. She kicks out, bending the snow to wrap around him and freeze him in place. "Good thing I don't need just my arms to waterbend," she notes. Katara asks where Hakoda is when one of his officers rushes forward to apprehend the old man. "I'm sorry, but I lost track of him at the gate," the officer tells her. With his fight ended, Aang lands next to Katara, and quickly he shows concern for her limp arms. "They'll be okay. They're already starting to tingle," she informs him. They rush towards the front gates. Ahead of them, Melina and Malik rush out into the frozen night. But they are stopped by one of the kids that attacked them the night before, and he punches Malik in the face, dropping him. "Guess they don't teach you how to fight in the north," the kid scoffs. Gilok comes rushing out, standing over Melina and her brother. "You have my word that we'll leave the South Pole first thing in the morning," Melina promises.
"That isn't good enough,"
Gilok tells her, glaring down. The warriors close in, throwing nets over the siblings. Before she can bend to defend herself, the young kid hits her in several pressure points.
"Chi blocking. Impressive,"
Gilok notes of his young warriors. He raises his club over his head, preparing to strike Melina. She continues to beg for his mercy, for his forgiveness.
"Forgiveness between family is easy.
But you aren't family, are you? You may look like us, you may dress like us, but you were never part of the tribe," he tells her. He brings the club down towards Melina's head, but his hand is stopped by Hakoda. "Let them go, Gilok," the chieftain commands. Gilok tries to explain that he has proof what the siblings are truly planning, but Hakoda tells him that he knew of their original plans, but that Melina changed her mind once she got to know the people of the South.
"It's a ruse, Hakoda, to gain your trust,"
Gilok shouts, but Hakoda shakes his head, telling him that he believes people can change. Anger fills Gilok as he claims that Hakoda is a traitor, and he lashes out at his brother-in-arms. Their weapons clashing against each other, they trade blows briefly. But Hakoda manages to disarm the other warrior. Hakoda lowers his weapon, trying to remind Gilok of the time that he saved his life, and he extends his hand. "Despite all that's happened in the last couple of days, that's how I think of you still. That's who you are to me. So let's talk this through, Gilok. As brothers," Hakoda tells his friend.
"Yes,
"You're right, brother," Gilok hisses as he pulls free a knife and leans in. Shock covers Hakoda's face as the blade pierces his skin. "No!" Melina screams as she watches. Katara calls out for her father as she and Aang rush forward. She slams her foot against the ground, trapping Gilok with ice. The others try to get away, but Aang manages to stop them, allowing the officers to catch them. Katara rushes to her father's side, leaning over him and using her bending to try and heal his wound. "I'm here, Daddy. Stay with me," she whispers. Later, Katara leans over her father in his hut. and he manages to come awake, weakly thanking his daughter for saving his life as she hugs him. "You had us a bit scared for a bit, Dad," Sokka tells him. Gran steps forward, admitting that things have not been good in the village because of the differences of beliefs. Katara and Sokka glare at each other, disagreeing on who needs to change their way of thinking, Gilok or Malik and Melina. They head outside, greeting their friends and telling them about their father. Toph steps forward, explaining that she had no idea what Malik's true plans were for the South Pole. When Melina steps from the shadows, bringing words of anger from Katara. "I swear to you, all those things my brother said, I don't believe them," she tells Katara. But the young girl doesn't believe her. She knows that her mind changed when Melina fell in love with her dad. "But what happens when you fall out of love with him?" she asks. "Katara, it goes deeper than that," Melina tries to explain. She tells her that she, her brother, and their crew are leaving tomorrow, and she wanted to say goodbye to Hakoda. "You don't deserve to say goodbye to him," Katara tells her, and she nods, preparing to leave. But Gran appears in the door to the hut, calling Melina's name and telling her that Hakoda wants to speak with her. That night, in the holding cells, one of Hakoda's lieutenants brings Gilok his dinner. She tells him that she knows what he's trying to do, and that she understands. "I've never trusted the Northerners," she tells him as she places his food tray on the floor, and Gilok smiles as he sees the key to his cell. And that is the cliffhanger that we are gonna end North and South Part 2 on. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching today, and if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, give the video a like, leave a comment down below, and be sure to click that bell icon to get notifications when we release our videos. If you want to find more of me, Dan T Producer, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Dan T Producer. You can also find me on Twitch Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at twitch.tv/Silu91. That's CYLOO91. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next time with North and South Part 3.